What's up, everybody? This is Brushing Up with Shaun, and I'm going to help you paint mountains just like this in a few quick, easy steps coming right up. Hey everyone, I am so excited that you are learning to paint with me, Brushing Up with Shaun, and I want to give you an inside scoop on where to get your supplies. Just click on the link below in the description box and that will link you right up to Michael's. So if you need paint, brushes, canvas, easels, whatever you need to paint at home, that's where you're going to find it. So we're going to start off making some basic mountains, all right? We want you to actually get a really good feel because this is starting to get a little bit more advanced, but don't worry, I'm here to teach you. Welcome to another episode. What I want you to go ahead and grab maybe a couple different size brushes, maybe a medium size brush, go ahead and make it a flat brush, and then maybe also a small to medium size and a small brush, all right? So I've got my plain canvas right here. It's just got that nice gesso on it just because I've already painted paintings on here before, and I'm just recycling. I'm just kind of keeping it going, and that way I can show you as many paintings as possible. So what we're going to do is we want to get plain black, okay, plain black acrylic paint. And I'm going to go ahead and find this brush, maybe a medium-sized brush for me, and I'm just going to put some plain black right on that brush. Now all we're doing is we're mapping out our mountains, all right? We're going to do it right on this plain white here. So all I'm going to do is maybe make a few triangle tops, okay? Maybe this one's a little bit bigger over here. You got 3 right there, all right? Don't worry about any kind of perfection and everything. Like, we're just going to fill these in very quickly. So go ahead and put in some plain black on that brush, and I want you to just fill in those nice tops of triangles right here. Look at that. Very quick. Again, we're not using a ton of paint, but we're just mapping out these nice little mountains, just filling them in. It's, again, almost looks like a silhouette, really. But we're going to just do this nice, easy step. So fill in all of your beautiful triangles. And I'm just using a little bit larger brush just so I can cover this up very quickly. And I'm taking my mountains across the canvas here just so it doesn't leave any angles, anything like that. So what I've got there now is some nice bit of just plain black triangles. All right, it's kind of got a flat bottom here. No worries, all right? We're just practicing, getting used to making these mountains. Now, we also know that mountains aren't perfect pyramids, so we want to texturize this before we start laying our highlights and lowlights on here. We're going to take that same brush, put some plain black on there, and what I want you to do is down each side of your mountain peak, go ahead and start kind of dabbing or blotting your brush. And what you'll get now are these amazing features. Look at that texture now. You'll get a little bit more realism now just from blotting or dabbing and tapering down the sides of your mountains there. Wow, what a difference that would make. You know what, in fact, here, check this out. I'm just gonna make another mountain. All right, and that's how you start doing. We're gonna break this thing down little bit by little bit, and I'm gonna dab or blot down each side. But look at that now, what a difference that made. I'm gonna go ahead and dab some mountains here. This one's kind of a little bit stubbier there, no big deal. Again, nature's not perfect. We're gonna use that to our advantage so we can really lay this down very quickly. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and add this cool mountain's got maybe some cliff sides to it, kind of some fun edges there. Again, just blotting, dabbing my brush very quickly. But wow, what a fun way and an easy way. A very small step, but makes a magical, like, huge impact on your mountains. So that's what I'm talking about right here. Just some really cool texturizing. Try not to overthink it, because if you overthink it, you're just gonna be like, I need to make this perfect. Let loose, forget about all that. Don't even worry about perfection. Just sometimes the faster you go, the better this actually turns out. So check that out. You've got your base mountains, you've got your base layer, it's plain black. So you're more than welcome to do like browns, you can do all sorts of different colors. We will delve into this because we're gonna make a few episodes on making mountains. We'll do different angles, all sorts of different colors, so get ready for that. Bunch of episodes are coming up for mountains, so we'll get you covered on that. We've already got our clouds, so if you are like eventually making these scenes, you make your clouds first because that's the furthest thing back. Then you lay your mountains right on top of that. That way you don't have to outline every single little detail, all right? So as you can see, we've got that. Work on your beautiful mountains, and we'll set that brush down, rinse it off, dry it off, whatever you want to do with that brush here, but we are done with that. I'm going to bring you up a little bit closer so you can see what we're about to do on this guy. All right, so now you can see a little bit more up close the mountains, the texturizing, just with that simple step did. I'm going to go ahead and grab one of my smaller size brushes. I would say more of a flat size kind of brush would be best for this step here. Because we are just going to be adding these highlights with a brush. All right, that's our tool for today. So I want you to go ahead and put a tiny, tiny bit of white on your brush. Just a tiny bit of just plain white. And just barely any. Okay, we're going to make these little markings here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to map out where these highlights and lowlights are going to meet on this painting. I'm going to do that by just making little squiggly lines here. These little lines that are just kind of just very random. I'm going to go off each mountain peak. And one could be down more the middle, one could go off more to the side. Doesn't matter. What I'm doing is just mentally starting to understand now where these highlights are going to be on these mountain peaks and where the lowlights are going to begin too. So you can see I've got these very faint, very random squiggly lines. No rhyme or reason to it right now, but it's going to help you map out in your mind where to put some of these highlights. I want you to go ahead and put a little bit more of that plain white on your brush. And what we're going to do now is we're going to use like maybe these little highlights as a guide. So like you can see this little squiggly line right here. I'm going to add these like diagonal little almost like streaks or tiger stripes, texturizing this mountain here. Look at that. All right, it's just a guide. I'm going to maybe start at the top here too and break up a little bit of that actual mountain there. And you can still see some of that black in the background. That's cool. We want that. Don't worry about it. We want to just break it up. We're adding these like tiger stripe little streaks. And remember, every mountain is so different that it's just a fun step, but we're using that kind of little line in the middle that we made, that squiggly wiggly line, and as just a guide of where we're going to add the highlights and where that mountain is kind of breaking up a little bit there. Your highlights, your lowlights, fun stuff. So you can see I'm using that. I've just got a little bit of paint on there right now. I'm going to come over back to these guys here and just kind of have some fun with this one here. Check this out. Just these little streaks, little tiger stripes, and just texturize. I'm making the streaks. I'm even dabbing maybe a little bit. You can just maybe dab very lightly. That adds some texture too, some just different little lines. And I'm going to come to this squiggly line here. Check that one out. That one's like kind of a little bit more impactful up there. Holy cow. And that's what I love. You can just totally have fun with this and just go off your squiggly lines for now. So I'm going to let you work on that and we'll keep it rocking. What I'm doing now is adding another layer of white, just right, kind of breaking up some of that original gray that popped up. And I still want to see some of it, but I'm adding another layer. As that paint starts to dry, you can see, wow, look at that, how much that cool white just really takes and highlights it very well. So keep working on that. Break up that gray. All right, add another layer. You can see it's already starting to dry on you. And keep it going, guys. Work on this. Take your time. Add your tiger stripes. And you can even taper some of this down below. Maybe add some like little snowbank down there. Add your highlights. And it just makes a nice little easy glide to that mountaintop there. Oh yeah. And you could even improvise and make some smaller mountains down here. You can see I'm just making the side of those mountains. Just making it up as I go. Maybe there's a little mountain right there, just has a tapering down. Again, I am not trying to be perfect. I am on purpose trying to make some mistakes, make some flaws. Now you could keep it like this and it could be like a very bold statement shadow. I'm gonna go ahead and add some nice color on the side just to give you a glimpse of what you can start doing with color. We will do some black and white shows, so don't worry, we will delve into where we're just gonna use these colors and make a whole painting on that. But for now, at least I will put a little bit of color on our shadows just to show you how simple this really is. Once you start getting the technique, once you start figuring out your paints and your brushes, any material that you need, go ahead and click on the link in the description box. That's going to link you up to Michael's. They have all the paints that we use. I use typically a lot of the Artist Loft just because it's very inexpensive and I can use a ton of it and just keep it rocking for a long time. And we will delve into some of the more expensive paints and we'll see the comparison between those. But for now, like I said, you don't need to break the bank. There are these packs of brushes too that you can buy. It's like the super value pack. I totally recommend getting it. It's awesome. It comes with like your paint knives, all that stuff, some different tools than just brushes. But it's like a 50 pack and there's so much in it. So totally recommend getting that. But there you go. There's some of your mountains. Pretty awesome texture. Now what I want to do is go ahead and take that same brush I'm using, that flat one right there. It's got plain white on it, no big deal. I'm going to go ahead and make some light blue. So I'm going to take a little bit of plain blue and mix that into some white. And that's going to make a nice powdery light blue. And we're just going to do the same thing, but on the opposite side. We're going to add some of these cool light blue streaks, tiger stripes, if I call them. And we're going to add some of these awesome shadows. Now you still want to see some of that black too, because that is the really dramatic baseline. But this at least shows that there is some kind of backdrop, some different kind of, maybe some snowfall or something on that. And you can see I'm going to do one right here. This was a great mountain, so you can see. Now, it's okay just to practice with this blue, and I'm going to show you right after this blue, if you put a little too much blue on it, don't worry. I'm going to show you that we can actually fix a lot of your highlights and lowlights with this, but it just adds, again, a nice little color to it. And it just makes it a little bit more interesting. You can actually bring some of that into your white if you want, and it kind of maybe showcases that there is some smaller shadows in there, not that all that crazy black. Not really dark shadows. But bam! Hello! Look at that color, man. It's coming along great. You got this, all right? I know I'm concentrating. I'm not talking as much here, but I'm going to get you rolling with this here. So you can see, wow, look at all that texture. Okay, there's a lot. There's a lot on there. There's a lot. Maybe you're like, hey, that's too much texture. I don't want that. No big deal. Take your napkin, wipe off your brush a little bit. All right, it's okay if there's a little light blue or anything on there. Just go put some plain black right on there. And you're like, hey, I don't want nearly that much texture on there. So I want to change this back up a little bit. I just want to add some little highlights. All you got to do is break it up with your black. Check that out. Check that. What's going to do. It's going to get rid of some of those streaks. All right. You can just, it's all about layering, you know, doing these different layers and just messing around with your mountains, your highlights, your lowlights, and just figuring out what you like, what you're painting, what you want it to look like a little bit. You know, everybody's got their different take. I love that. And I hope you really are just having fun with this. It's such a relaxing time, especially when you start getting the hang of it and just mess around with it. Again, if you're a perfectionist, let it go. You gotta let that go a little bit, all right? I know it's difficult to hear that, but don't worry. I'm here to help, you know, kind of remedy a little bit of that. So you can see I'm getting rid, and even in the blue, I can get rid of some of that, and I can add some more of those dramatic, you know, shadows again. And then it kind of just makes those blues just disappear a little bit too. So again, fun stuff. Every painting is so different. This is amazing. I just keep doing this, and just know that every painting that I've ever done, any mountains I've ever done, every single one of them is different. Every single one. There's not one that is exactly alike. And that's the beauty of art, and that is the beauty of what you're, you know, trying to create. And I want you to just, you know, just enjoy this. It's such a treat for me just to hang out with you guys. You know, feel free to send like any questions, comments to my Facebook, Instagram. It's Brushing Up with Shaun, SHAUN. It should punch right in if you do like a Google search. But it's there for you. I'm here to help. All right, so there you go, guys. Practice it. Keep it going.